Hello, everyone. We're back with Ken Dombrowski, Executive Life Coach and Master Hypnotist. And today we're going to talk about something I don't think we've ever actually talked about before, and that's goals, specifically how you set realistic goals for yourself.
Well, you just said it perfectly. You have to be realistic about your goals. I am not the typical life coach who goes, oh, you can have, do, or be anything you want as long as you want it badly enough. The only limitations are in your mind. I've heard that so many times, and it's just absolutely awful. Mm-hmm. I've actually gone to different expos and seminars and different things where life coaches or hypnotists, congregate to getting together and further education kind of thing. And even though I'm a professional life coach, even though I'm a master hypnotist, I still get these same people trying to tell me this exact same thing, and I tell them, no, it's got to be within reason. Well, that's just your fear talking. I said, okay, here you go. I'm 57 years old. I weigh 375 pounds. I'm a power lifter, but I want to be, more than anything, I want to be the winner of the next Kentucky Derby. I want to be a jockey riding that horse. So now let's make that happen. Now, then they'll say, oh, now you're just being ridiculous. That's what I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. You're being ridiculous. Everything has parameters. It's just the way it is. Our world is made of limitations. There is nothing about you that is unlimited. That's a promise from me to you, guarantee. What we do within those parameters, what we do within those boundaries, that's what makes the difference. And if we're constantly shooting for the stars and all that, you're going to find yourself seriously disappointed a lot. And then just it crushes your dreams, and then you just kind of do nothing from there. So what does it take to have a healthy goal? First thing is be reasonable. We want to also do small goals as we go. We want to have, some big goals at the end of the pot of the gold, at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. But every step of that journey, we want to also have smaller goals, maybe even like day-to-day goals, because that keeps you in the mind of goal setting and goal accomplishment. And that becomes now your energy in how you move forward. So what kind of goals would you imagine most people might have? Any ideas?
I mean, speaking from the calls that we get, a lot of people have the goal of quitting smoking or smoking less or losing X amount of pounds by this date or, trying to quit their job to start their own business or do something else. Basic goals. I feel like most of the time people don't come to us with these like crazy delusions of grandeur, but that's also not the type of people we're attracting either. So
right. Very true, all that. So when it comes to goals, let's say like losing weight, I've seen this so many times in my life where, and I'm going to forgive me, I'm going to sound a little sexist, and I promise I'm not sexist. Am I sexist, Lauren?
No.
Okay, thank you. Is that so many women want to lose a certain amount of weight so they can look perfect on their wedding day. And of course, great. It sounds fantastic. It's going to be a big day. Everyone's going to be there. You want to look your best and all that kind of thing. So we have women who will have this goal. It's set. It's hard. There's a date attached to it. You can't move that date. And so they're going to a mindset. Absolutely, that decision is made. They usually will hit that goal weight, that target, look spectacular on their wedding day, but then you catch them 6 months later, and chances are they're back to their pre weight that they were at before they set that goal, or even more.
Yeah, heavier, yeah.
Why is that an unrealistic goal? Because it was rooted in superficiality. It did not do anything at all to resolve the underlying causes of why that person is overweight in the first place. Could be body dysmorphia, body images. It could be an overeating, binge eating sugar. It could be a myriad of things that did not get resolved. So they were just simply set aside for a 6-month period of time to get to that goal weight. Perfect example of that is Oprah Winfrey. So many people, especially if you're my age, you'll remember this from back in the early 90s, I think it was. Oprah Winfrey was always a heavy woman, accomplishing great things, as we all know. And she made a proclamation on her show wearing this great big trench coat. And she said, I am not going to take off this trench coat in the studio until I reach my goal weight. And so episode after episode, weeks and months are going by. And if I remember right now, please forgive me if there's any fact checkers out there. You might correct me on this if I'm off. I believe her goal weight was 165, I think. So one day, after months and months of wearing this huge trench coat, she was at 167, 2 pounds a bit heavier, 167. And they decided, let's do it today. Let's just do it. And they were all excited. And she throws off her coat, and people in the audience they're praying to God, praising. They're crying. They're so happy for her. Oh my gosh, Oprah, Oprah, Oprah. She never hit her goal weight of 165. 167, and the next day she started going back up again because she did nothing about fixing the actual underlying causes. So that's why that's not a realistic goal. It's a successful goal. It's a success that failed, I guess you might say, right? How would you actually characterize that? You're probably better at
like explaining that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say because I think it's also just like the simple fact of it was rooted in the wrong reasons, kind of like you're saying, but also like your goal should not be that you care what other people think of what you look like. Your goal should be, I want to lose weight to be healthier. So like, you know, the people that do it the wrong way usually end up gaining the weight back because they're trying to cheat code it. You know what I mean? So I think, I don't know what the specific thing would be the right way to say for what you're saying, but I think it's a mix of cheat codes, wrong reasons, and so many other things. And I mean, obviously she's a public figure, so it's a little bit different, but she got the praise she wanted. You know, she got the accomplishment feeling without even having to achieve her goal. And so since she got that, she didn't have to achieve or like strive for anything anymore.
Right. Now, as we know, she's accomplished incredible things, goals all over her life. But for some reason, that's one that she's just struggled with. And I've been watching Oprah for almost 40 years now, I think.
Right.
So anyhow, when it comes to goals, let's not talk about Oprah anymore. Let's talk about you. Think about, if you want to lose weight and you've been struggling with it, and this is just an example, and you've been struggling with this for your whole life, you have to really find out within yourself why. Why am I doing this? Is it because of what I'm eating or how much I'm eating or not getting enough exercise? Or do I have something even more going on? Is it emotional? Because the reason that most people are going to be overweight is that it's going to be emotions. We tend to notice, not always, we tend to notice that emotional people tend to also carry weight. They're carrying the weight of overly emotional baggage. See how they're carrying it emotionally, then they're going to also carry it physically in their body. That's what I suffer from because I carry a lot of I'm an extremely emotional man. I'm extremely highly empathic. I'm a super empath. And I'm always a little heavy. I'm a big man. So I could lose whatever I want if I starve myself, but then you know what? I'll put it right back on again. And that's not healthy, all that ping-ponging up and down. So what would you do? Find out what is going on under the surface. Maybe it's an unhappy relationship. Maybe make a goal. Instead of making a goal right away to lose weight, as the example, how about make a goal to get more involved in your relationships and see what you can do to nurture them? See, that's a better goal. That's more reasonable, more realistic, and it's going to affect every aspect of your life. Not just relationships with people around you. How about maybe your work? Maybe someone they're going to work and they're not happy with their job or they have to spend too much time there and they're exhausted. Well, maybe you need to readdress that. I had so many people tell me, I'm not going to leave my job because I have seniority and I have this and I'll never get this same job again. Okay, but it's at the cost of your health and well-being. So make goals. If you don't like your job, make it a goal to like your job. How about that?
Find a job you'll enjoy. I think people forget you can leave. You know, I think that's the other thing for me. Like, if you're genuinely unhappy with where you are, change it. I've had people tell me that they actually admire that about me because if I don't like where I am, I leave. Like, I'm not going to sit there and just, annoy everyone else around me because I have nothing positive to say. I don't want to be in that environment anymore. So I just leave it.
There you go. See, now, older generations, like my age and older, we were taught to get a job, a career with a company, and you stay there for 35 years and you retire. That's what we were taught. We were not taught if you're unhappy, you leave. We were taught if you're unhappy, suck it up, buttercup, you got to go back again tomorrow. and it's just all there is to it. The bills have to keep getting paid and all the stuff has to happen. So that was what happened with my generation and older. But then we started, me as Generation X, we started teaching our younger generations, our children, that you really should be allowed to be, I don't want to say happy, but how about satisfied or fulfilled by your work?
Yep.
Right? So you should be able to. And if you don't, maybe you should look for something else. But if you find yourself in the last 5 years, you've had 8 jobs, then chances are it's you, not the jobs. You're looking for something that does not exist. So you do need to start adapting. And that can be a goal. How do I make myself be more involved and more joyful with what I do? How about simply appreciating that at the end of that week or 2 weeks, whatever you get paid, there's a paycheck. You have to look forward to that because you have to pay your bills. Imagine if you didn't have that check. You can't pay your bills or you'd have difficulty. So look at that as a goal of simply appreciating where you're at.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it because we're kind of like dancing around the word manifestation now, and it's not, the delusions of grandeur manifestation. It's based in what you know you're capable of, and that's kind of the entire point of this video. But just another way to look at it, because I was just watching a seminar last week, and one of the presenters that had a business that he was talking about literally said that one of the things he started doing like a little over a year ago was just every single morning he made it a habit to write what he wanted while he was drinking his coffee. So he attached that habit to the drinking of coffee, which smokers do and people like that do, but it was a good habit. And so he would just write down everything that he could think of that he wanted, but they were all within reason, and they started happening for him, for his business. It kept him focused. It made him understand like what mattered, what he appreciated. So that kind of is a goal. He had a daily goal of making sure he wrote down what he wanted. And then those things actually manifested into truth because he was putting effort behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, the right kind of energy, the right kind of effort. Like you can't manifest with negative energy and expect to get anywhere good.
Those are all really great things to think about. Now, for me personally, writing stuff down does not work. And it annoys the shit out of me. I do not write down. To me, everything has to be captured.
I get that from my mom. Yeah.
Yeah. You and your mom are more organized that way. Yep. I'm definitely not. If I have to start writing stuff down, I'm gonna get probably go into a depression or something. It just doesn't work for me. So anyway, yeah, I can manifest simply through. Of course, we have to understand when we start talking about what it takes to manifest a goal. Manifestation is it takes 2 parts. First, it takes visualization and belief and all that kind of stuff and being reasonable, and then it takes action. You can't do one without the other. You cannot, if you're just having a whole bunch of action, just running out and hustling, and you don't really have a goal, something that you're really, that you have some kind of organization and visualization to, you're just going to then hustle forever till you burn yourself out. If you have just visualizations and goals but no action, well, you're just going to be sitting around and going to be constantly broke and disappointed that it's just not showing up to you.
Right.
Yeah.
I do actually think that there's a lot to be said more for short-term goals than long-term goals because, long-term goals are nice, but you can't really get to them without those short-term steps, kind of like you said earlier.
Exactly. It's like climbing a flight of stairs. You can't just get to the top. That's the goal, is getting to the top. You have to go through each and every one of those steps. You might even stumble on a step. You still have to get up and keep going. So yeah, every step of the way is going to be another set of goals. And that's the thing, if you can really appreciate those little goals, like even daily. I think we even talked about this once before. When I used to write things down a long time ago when I was much younger, I used to write down, because I was a general contractor and I had to write down everything I had to do today. I had to sit there in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and just write out line after line on a notepad. And it'd be 2 full pages of the things I had to get done today. And as I'm going through my day, I'd pull that out and I'd strike a line through whatever the task I just did. And so that would be literally 200 small goals that made my day. It brought the entire day together, which then contributed to the overall project that I was working on and the company that I'm building. So we have to be able to go through those small steps and even celebrate. Yeah, right on. That's another one down.
Yeah, we did discuss the satisfaction of being able to cross things off a list because that is very satisfying because you're like, yep, finish that. Like seeing something get smaller, a list get smaller is so nice because that means you're doing something. So I think that was the get off the couch kind of thing as well. It kind of goes hand in hand. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Goals will get you off the couch. So,
So be realistic about your goals, but then push the envelope. Cannot imagine you're just going to go from someone making $30,000 a year to become a billionaire next year. That's just not even close to reasonable. Forget it. Get that out of your head. All you're doing is damaging yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for all of that information. I think this is like a take that needs to be talked about more. It's not really discussed about realism rooted in goals. So
yeah, it is. You don't see a lot of that on the internet. It's all you can do whatever, and that's just not true.
Right. So if you need help figuring out what are reasonable goals for you, please call us today, visit our website, anything like that. Have a nice day.
Thank you.